1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so many.
6, 7,
Lots.
8.
Wie spreekt er alleen Nederlands? Ja, dat zijn er toch wel heel weinig toch? Dan gaat het misschien toch wel ergens achterin een vertaling naar Nederlands worden, denk ik. Als het niet. Anders moet er een hele volksverhuizing, een stamverhuizing naar de andere kant. Zo, Engels, English, Windsor. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Bhagavad Gita as it is, by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Chapter 7, entitled Knowledge of the Absolute, Text 24. Avyaktam yaktimapanam manyante mam abudaya param bhavam ajananto mamavyayam anuttamam. Yeah. Put it away. Unintelligent men who do not know me perfectly think that I, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, was impersonal before and now have assumed this personality. Due to their small knowledge, they do not know my higher nature, which is imperishable and supreme. So, this verse from the Bhagavad Gita is interesting in the 7th chapter because Krishna is speaking in the Gita. The Bhagavad Gita takes place 5,000 years ago in northern India on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And there a great difference over the throne has come about within one family. And as a result, it comes to a war, and different family members are on different sides of the armies. And Arjuna is, just before the battle, asking Krishna, who has agreed to help him as a chariot driver, but not to fight. He asked Krishna, Senayor Ubayor Madhye, please take me between the two armies. So then Krishna takes Arjuna between the two armies, and there he sees his grandfather. He sees his grandfather Bhishmadev. He sees his teacher, Dronacharya, and now he's supposed to fight. He says, like, I cannot fight. Govinda na yuyutsavaha. Govinda, I will not fight. I cannot fight. And then he becomes so confused that he turns to Krishna and says, basically he says, I don't know what to do anymore. Please instruct me. Karpanya dus pahata swabhava prichamidam dharma samudacita sayat shreyani시tam bruitam misisyasteham sadimam tum prapanam. Then Krishna begins to instruct Arjuna. And the first thing he says to him is, Asuchanan vasuchastram pragyavadam chabasase gatasuna gatasumsta nanasursanti panditaha. He said, you are lamenting over things that are not worth lamenting about. Or translated in modern language, you're making a big thing out of nothing. Yeah? Relax. Calm down. You're making a whole drama. And actually there is no drama. Krishna is basically saying. And it continues. And Krishna says that Arjuna should fight. It's like against his grandfather, against his teacher, against many who are dear to him. But Krishna points out there is a higher goal. A higher goal, and also a higher understanding. The first point that comes out in the second chapter, where Krishna begins to instruct Arjuna, is na jayate mriyate vakadachin nayam bhutva. It is said that the soul never takes birth and the soul never dies. So that's kind of something that Arjuna didn't consider. I mean, he's thinking, my grandfather is going to die, and now the soul never dies and the soul never takes birth. It is the body that appears, but the body is described in the Bhagavad Gita as yantri rudani mayaya, which means it is basically a vehicle made of material energy. Yeah. Like, well, it's like that when you go into a hospital. It's just like going to a garage, you know, and they treat it like that also, right? A screw here, a screw there, and a tube here, and a tube there, and it's a machine. Yantra, says the Bhagavad Gita. So, why does Arjuna have to fight? Is fighting such a desirable thing? Sometimes it may be needed to protect the interest of higher principles. The opposing party was led by Duryodhana, who was outright envious, and really, with that, he was not qualified to lead others. His heart was filled with envy, his consciousness so impure, he would have led society to hell. He was an exploitive person who was only interested in profit, gains, and power, and all these things. A typical politician. And he was very much a politician. And therefore, Arjuna was the younger brother of Yudhisthira. And Yudhisthira was a person of the most noble character. Yudhisthira was a cousin of Duryodhana. But somehow or other, by manipulation, they had taken away the throne. And the result was that now Duryodhana was in power, and Yudhisthira pushed off to the side. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, he did not agree. He did not agree. He desired that Yudhisthira would be crowned the king because of his noble character, so that the entire earth could be uplifted. In previous times, the king was looked upon as the representative of the Supreme Lord. That was the idea. There was a whole spiritual hierarchy. It had to be like that. In the Vedic literatures, what is it again? Nitai Karuna Nitai Goracha. Karuna Nitai Gorachandra Kijai. So, in the Vedic literatures, we find there the oldest books. Attack. We find the oldest books in the world in the Vedic literature. And these books, they are describing that there were very noble personalities. Sit still. Keeps on doing things. Noble personalities. And these noble personalities, they were saintly. They're described as Raja Rishis, kings who were saintly. So not like kings who were corrupted and just exploited the people, like when the French Revolution was threatening, right, and the French people were objecting against the royalty, then they came to Marie Antoinette and they said, the people have no bread. And she said, let them have cake. In French, gâteau. Let them have gâteau. And that sort of did it. That was the final straw that broke the camel's back, and they invented the guillotine and so on. Leaving that aside, that gruesome part. That was exploitive royalty. But in the Vedic times, the royalty, leave him there. In the Vedic times, the royalty was of a pure, noble character. It is not possible to have a pure, noble character unless one is a spiritually realized person. It's not possible. Unless one has an attitude of servitorship towards God. Because ultimately that's where all good qualities come from. And that's the only reason to maintain good qualities. There's a philosophy called humanism. And basically it's like, it resembles religious behavior. You're charitable, you're kind, you're merciful, and all these things, but there's no God. We are only trying to develop all these qualities of goodness. But why would I maintain it? If I can make a profit from you? Why would I be honest? What's the benefit of morality anyway? You know, it's like actually the thieves are doing better than the honest guys. What's the problem? If everything is material, if there is no spiritual purpose behind things, what is the point of morality? Therefore we understand that really without spirituality one cannot maintain a platform of goodness. It's not possible. You come down again. But only in one who is dedicated in devotion becomes selfless. Only one who is selfless can become non-envious. Because when you're selfish, then you want something that belongs to someone else. You start to give them the evil eye. So, selflessness, purity was found in great personalities. Such as Yudhisthira, who was meant to be on the throne. And Arjuna, his younger brother, was the greatest warrior of his time. And he was meant to fight and place his brother on the throne. Because his brother knew one thing. His brother, he knew the essence of all knowledge. He knew the answer to all questions. He understood how really reality works. And he understood that everything that we see is divine energy. That everything we see is spiritual. When he saw the wood, the stone, the sky, the trees, everything, he understood it's spiritual in origin. And the force of life is there. And that energy, that is the force of life within the universe, that energy comes from a spiritual source. What else can supply so much energy to the sun? Where does it come from? Oh, it's just a lot of gas up there. Yeah. But where did it come from? Where did it come from? It will be extinguished over years. There used to be many suns that are now extinguished. This one will also be extinguished. How do you know? How do you know? Fairy tales, kind of sucking the thumb and dreaming. They don't know. So, but those who have deeper vision can see that everything is resting on a spiritual foundation coming from the Supreme Lord. So then we become religious, not like moralistic religious or not like narrow-minded religious, but rather the opposite. Broad-minded, very broad-minded. Udaradi, says the Bhagavad Gita. All-inclusive. All-inclusive. Yes. Taking it a step further than what is here on the ground. And finally, finding a purpose. Finding a purpose. Like, what's the purpose of music if it's not meant to uplift the consciousness? There's all kinds of music, crazy stuff that brings you down. But if it's not used to uplift the consciousness, what is the point? What is the meaning? What is the meaning of building big buildings if these buildings are not doing something to uplift mankind? What's the point? A huge skyscraper, and then what? You know, money makes the world go around, and then, you know, we have 2 twin trade towers, and then boom, they go down, and then, geez, all the records totally lost. All the black money in that building disappeared into smoke. What to say? So really, everything in our life needs to be, if we see that connection with the Supreme, then it begins. Because then we can relate everything. And we see, I didn't make this world. I appeared in this world. It was already there. It's not mine, therefore. It actually was made by someone else, the Supreme Lord. It's His. I am meant to use it for His purpose, not my purpose. Then one becomes an agent. Then one becomes a via media. Then one becomes surcharged, electrified, mystified. One becomes potent with spiritual energy. At that time we can, we become empowered, spiritually empowered. That is the purpose of human existence. One then develops saintly qualities. If one is the servant, if one is a servant, the servant develops naturally the qualities of the master. Because whatever is important to the master is supposed to be important to the servant. So in this way, the servant gradually develops qualities like the master. Therefore, the devotee develops qualities like Krishna. Same qualities like Krishna. And therefore he or she becomes more and more saintly, day by day, moment by moment. And that saintliness translates not only like in the sky with devotional prayers and tears running from the cheeks and burning candles, but also just down to earth, in all directions, in all dealings. Everything is a sacred space. Everything. Every interaction is meant to be a sacred space. Every dealing like that is to be sanctified. That is our life. So it has to be transformed in every aspect. I mean, not just like, I have great ideas. Yeah, that's okay. You're reaching up so high and so spiritual. Now bring it back down. Now come back down and bring it to the ground in all ordinary dealings. High thoughts, high philosophy, but where is it on the ground? So then we have to bring it on the ground, and then everything transforms. And then our life transforms, the world transforms, and suddenly you can leave your doors open. You don't have to lock them anymore. No one will steal, no one cares. No one will kill, no danger. And when everyone starts to think of the well-being of everyone instead of his own, then all these barriers will drop. That is the spiritual platform. Okay, we may not be able to do that on the large scale, but we can maybe do it on a small scale. Now, 1 minute back to the verse that I chose, or that chose me, because I didn't choose it, I just opened the book and there it came. And then it says, so I have established more or less, I tried to establish that everything is resting on spirit, and that a person who realizes that becomes a servant in the entire cosmic arrangement, and so on. So, in this way, some people say, yes, this is right, we must come to the cosmic consciousness, where we are realizing that, yes, we are part of that same energy, and we are all part of that one energy. That is true, we are part of that, but some think that when you become spiritually elevated that you lose your individuality and that you just merge in that transcendental spiritual energy. This is called impersonalism. Many yogis came to the West, so many, since the 60s or even before. They came and they gave this kind of knowledge. But then, in India, there is another tradition. So many famous temples in India. Here is one of our guest devotees who is telling us about Tirupati. Tirupati. It is the temple in India that gets the most visitors. There is no temple in India that gets as many people coming every year as Tirupati. It is also the richest temple in India. And you have to stand in queues. Yesterday, somehow or other, my friends from Australia were here, and it was their last day, and they wanted to see the Rijksmuseum. And boy, oh boy, did I stand in that queue. 2.5 hours, seriously. And we couldn't get out anymore, just standing in. And after 2 hours, you also think, look, we stood here 2 hours now we're going to stand here, and even if it's 10, we got to get in. Anyway, we got in and saw the history of Holland and a few other things. Very nice. Anyway, so we have to wait in queues. Like in Tirupati, they have queues and people have to wait for days. Days sometimes, and they do. Really, ask him, he sits next to you for days. If you pay something, the donation, something donation, no problem. Then you, the shortcut also, 20 minutes, 20 minutes waiting, no problem. You'll get 2,000 rupees.
It also takes 3 hours or 4 hours.
2,000 rupees take 3-4 hours. If you pay more, then you can cut shorter. Whatever. So these things are there, but whatever may be. So waiting is there. But why do these people wait? Why do they wait? Why do they wait? We see huge crowds. Yesterday it was a huge crowd. It was big. And the Queen's Day is coming in Amsterdam, and it's going to be big because we got a king now. It's going to become King's Day. And then, so many people will be there. That's for sure. It will be a huge crowd. But compared to the Kumbh Mela, it's nothing. Nothing. Small crowd. Nothing. No. In Kumbh Mela we have real big crowd. Very big. Very big. In 1 month, 24 million. And they built this tent city, and it all works. It's amazing. You think like, well, that in India, but the army gets in, and it's so organized. It's incredible, Kumbh Mela. But why do people come for the biggest gathering in the world? Spiritual purposes. So let us think for a moment. But very, very few understand the secret. You've heard that book, The Secret? Yeah? You read the book, The Secret? Did you see the movie, The Secret? Anybody? Come on, somebody said. What was it about? What was the secret?
That everything you imagine and you want, it will happen.
What was it called? What was it called? The law of attraction. She said, that's right. So the law of attraction, that's the secret. And they're right. It is about the law of attraction. It exists, it's true. Prabhupada told us a story about that. And the story was this. There was a man in the bank, a teller in the bank, one who sits behind the counter counting the cash. Before they had machines, they had those things. And the man sitting counting the cash, and you have to come to the cash window, and there you put your money. So one man was standing in front of the counter, and he saw the pile of money behind the counter. Then he took one of his notes and he threw it on that pile of money. The teller says, "What are you doing? Why are you throwing your money on my pile of money?" The man says, "I heard that money attracts money, so I want to test it out." And the teller said, "That's right, money does attract money, my money attracted your money. And that's the story. Prabhupada's story.
He didn't get back.
No, he didn't get it back. So the law of attraction is there, and we think that whatever we think, that we'll attract that. You know, we'll attract that. Yeah. But actually, it's the opposite. We are the ones who are being attracted. We are being attracted all the time. Tweet, 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 the birds. Oh, the birds. Oh, the sun. Oh, the reflection in the water. Oh, the forest. Oh, so beautiful. Oh. We're being attracted all the time. And if we're not attracted, then we get depressed. Life is no use. Life has no meaning. Is there a bridge, you know? or maybe a tower. Life is miserable. I don't know what to do. There is nothing that is true. It's like this, depression. But when we are appreciating that we are the one who is attracted, then we can understand that ultimately, what we're looking for is not just something attractive, not just a little bit attractive, or somebody quite attractive. No, we want somebody totally attractive. Yeah. Total. Totally attractive. And that's Krishna. Because the translation of the name Krishna means he is the all attractive. All attractive. That's what it is. And gradually one finds out. So Yudhisthira knew this secret. Yudhisthira understood it. And that is why Yudhisthira was meant to be the emperor of the world. And that is the Bhagavad Gita. And that we are thinking about today, about our own life, about the law of attraction. And yeah, I sometimes think about money, but it doesn't come. Sometimes it does, but not always. But one thing is for sure. I don't know how it happened, but I got attracted by Krishna somehow or other. And now I want to serve. I want to. I never wanted such things before. I hated serving, but yeah, I hated it. But now I want to. I want to serve. Because when you get attracted to someone, then you want to serve. When you love someone, you want to serve. So that's very nice. Then everything will become sacred, meaningful, and yes, satisfying. What more shall I say? Everything will be all right. And exciting. Not boring, all right, you know, but exciting also. So, we've got a few minutes left for questions before they're going to blow that horn there, that conch shell. So, somebody quick. Yes, please.
Yes. I want to share something. This morning, very early in the morning, I had the meditation, great blessing of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhuji.
Yeah.
And also Prabhupada was present.
Yeah.
And there was some kind of Abhisheka, initiation.
Okay.
And I received a new name.
Okay.
And the name is Srila Govinda Pada.
Okay.
I've been told to tell this during this satsang.
It happens more often.
Hare Krishna, Hare Radhe,
Jai. Yes, well, you know, such things are okay in the sense that we see that as divine encouragement. You know, we are on the spiritual path and we get some encouragement on that path and we need it. We need to be encouraged. But it's a step on the way. It's a step on the ladder. It's not the top of the ladder. So carry on the ladder, because once we get to the top of the ladder, then you get also a new name, again.
received many names.
Yes, and then you will get the final name, the ultimate name. And the ultimate name you will get at the top of the ladder is Das Anudas. And that name, I'm already offering it to you today as a gift. Das Anudas.
What is that?
And it means to be the servant of the servant.
Haribol!
2 more minutes. Okay, Alexander. The Great.
Ik zeg het in het Nederlands, misschien kan je het vertalen.
Ja,
U zei goed punt, dat krokodillentranen. Hè?
Good point, crocodile tears.
Yes. Het is, zeg maar, door te luisteren naar Bhagavad Gita zie je dus ook je schaduwzijde.
By hearing about the Bhagavad Gita, you also see your own shadow side.
En u had het ook over die goodness.
And I spoke about goodness.
En het is toch erg moeilijk om dat vol te houden. Dus.
It's really hard to keep it up. It is, I admit. But by mercy, see, I mean, on our own strength, we are all weak. We are. We have no self-discipline. We never learned these things, you know. We learn to enjoy our senses without control, right? You know, and then suddenly you get all this knowledge from the Bhagavad Gita and yoga and you have to control the senses and the mind. Very difficult, very difficult. So how to do it is by mercy. Mercy is the factor. And mercy we can get it through that service. Service is the key to mercy. And then mercy will do it, will transform us. If you knew where I came from, you would be surprised. Yes?
I have one question, or maybe a statement, that Krishna has also some difficulties. Srila Prabhupada said that he could solve the world in 18 days.
Yeah.
And there has been a devotee in this temple who was telling me in all temples that it might be possible.
Mm-hmm.
So his difficulty is how to solve this world in 18 days.
Yeah. Then Prabhupada said, then we all have to become pure devotees. Then we can change the whole world in 18 days. So it's easy. We just begin here today, all of us. Super. Very easy.
I think it is possible.
Okay, well that's nice. I appreciate that. No, I do. I like people who have ideals, you know, like John Lennon. You may say that I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. Right? I liked that song. That there was, you know, yeah, you must have a dream in life. Something some ideal. So I hope it will happen. That everyone will become a pure devotee. Then I'll be the last one.
I think that Srila Prabhupada was also saying that there was no question of changing the philosophy.
No question.
I don't say that it is not that is needed to change the philosophy.
No. But you can present the same teachings in many ways, and Prabhupada did that himself. And that is the interesting part, and that's where creativity comes in. So it's not like that you just have to be like a parrot, you know, and just say like, well, is it written in the Bhagavad Gita? No, then you cannot speak it. No. So in this way, we appreciate that we are loyal to the teachings, but we can present them according to Kala, Desha, Patra, time, place, and circumstance. And that is what we do. And I hope that we'll all become pure devotees. And if all of you become pure devotees, then shower some mercy on me. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna.